everybody. Willie G here, and we are live. I'm here with Carlo. Carlo, you want
What
to
is up?
say
What
hello?
is up, land investors? Hello.
So Carlo is the newest member to the Land Investing Pros team. He's helping us out. He is doing land deals on the side, and so that is also going to be the topic today. So we're going to discuss how he does it, and I'll get into my backstory and how I started doing this business on the side. I do want to mention that if you guys are interested in getting started in the land investing business, please go to landinvestingpros.com and go to landinvestingpros.com. Watch our free webinar on there. And I just got active again on the podcast. So go subscribe to the Fire Your Boss Real Estate podcast. That is now active again. Totally different content than what we're doing here. I used to be just repurposing the content and then posting to the podcast. And now it's just totally new content back. So that's back. So please subscribe to the Fire Your Boss Real Estate podcast. And without further ado, let me introduce Carlo. And Carlo, maybe you can go into a little bit about your background and maybe just dig into your background a little bit and how you met Paul and then how you got involved with us.
Yeah, definitely. So Paul was a good buddy of mine. We actually met because our parents lived close together in Florida, and we became wake surfing buddies very quickly, which was pretty cool. But yeah, a little bit about my background in terms of real estate, in terms of what I'm really doing like full time and everything. So I have a sales background, and basically I've been doing everything, from with regards to like land investing, fully while I'm able to work full time. So basically, when I first started, I was always super interested in real estate, very interested in passive income, rich dad, poor dad, all this good kind of stuff. That was ever since college. And I always thought that, I was, super interested. I want to get into it. And I started working in sales full time here in New York. And basically, I thought originally the best form of, passive income within real estate was multifamily properties, which is still great. But there were definitely a lot of negatives. And some of the negatives that I found was, good luck, trying to find a multifamily property in New York City. That was the first one.
Yeah.
That was the first one. And then, second, even if I was, to find multifamily properties, maybe in the suburbs, around the city or something like that, you kind of always constantly need to be involved with the property. You always need to go check on them. You have to deal with tenants. At the very least, you have to deal with a property manager. And you have to, make sure that your house is, well maintained and all of these different things. And so it was not only hard to find deals, but deals were expensive. Deals were expensive upfront, and they were expensive monthly. And it took a lot of time out of my day. And then eventually, when I found the land investing real estate niche, I was like, wow, this is like, a gold mine to me. Just because of, obviously all of the, returns and what you're able to accomplish in terms of scaling your business and building basically your own, kind of like your own real estate empire. But at the same time, how passive it really is, and how you can buy property literally anywhere in the entire United States, never have to go see it, and never really have to worry about, monthly costs like maintenance and things like that.
Awesome. So there was a lot there, and I want to start digging into it. But before we get into that, Freddie's back on. How's it going,
Freddie,
Freddie?
my man.
Freddie, our number one student, always on the lives, always participating in the group. So we appreciate it, Freddie. And if anyone has any questions for Carlo or myself throughout this live, just feel free to comment in the chat, and we are happy to answer any questions. One thing you did mention there was something about the competitiveness of multifamily. And do you know what cap rates are? I'm just curious out in New York City on some of those apartment buildings and or elsewhere.
Yeah, definitely. So if you own a multifamily property and this is in New York state, definitely the city, but I'm pretty sure the state as well. But basically, you have a cap rate for the amount of rent that you're able to charge if you have 6 units in that property or more. So your earnings are definitely limited. And it's basically completely up to the government of whether or what you're actually allowed to charge for those properties when you actually get to that point. So, when I was originally looking for properties, you were basically looking for single family homes, or you were looking for properties with units up to 5. And everyone knows that. So it was even more competitive to find that perfect property that you can have that's 5 units or under obviously for a good price point and, where you're going to be able to be profitable.
Awesome. Yeah. No, I totally understand that. And what I don't like about those niches, well, one, it takes a lot of capital. Two, the cap rates are pretty low. I don't know. Sorry, what did you say the cap rates are? I don't know. I generally think they're around like 8-10%
Yeah,
usually.
that's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah.
So yeah, 8-10%. And if your return on capital in this niche is 8-10%, then you'd be, I don't know. I don't even know how that would be possible, because we're getting like, you're turning your money like 3-4 times in a year.
Yeah,
And
you're
each time
quadruple.
you're turning your money, you're earning 100% return on it. So I don't know how you define that cap rate, but it's just totally different, and it requires way less capital to enter the business. And I don't know, so many better businesses, or so many better reasons it's a better business model. So awesome, we got Marcus on here. Marcus Andrews says, "I like land.
I like
I
land
like
too,
land too."
Marcus.
Sharon Gordon Smith says, "Good evening." Good evening, Sharon. I
Hello,
think
Sharon.
Sharon, I believe, just joined the land flipping formula. So
Oh,
welcome,
welcome to
and
the team, Sharon.
yeah, welcome. And if you have any questions, let us know. And Freddie says, "Land for the win. Land for the
That's
win."
it, man.
Freddie, any new big deals that you're working on, or
Pretty sure Freddie's been killing it.
yeah, Freddie has been killing it. So cool. So I want to dig in. So explain for everyone what, I guess, you're currently doing on a daily basis, and how you're able to manage your land business on the side.
For sure. So, yes, what I'm currently doing is sales. So, here in New York, I'm an accounting and finance recruiter. So, obviously, it's a big market for it, and it definitely takes up a lot of my time, for sure. I'm one of those people that I would say that I don't necessarily hate my job by any means. I actually like it. So, being able to do this and take that kind of income in, while at the same time being able to have this land business on the side, is just really a win-win. But yeah, basically, like what I'm able to do is, work my full-time job. I would say it's even more than a 9 to 5. It's probably more of like a 7 to 7 type of deal.
Yep.
Yeah. But the good thing about it is really all of the things that you're able to do within land that you're able to outsource. That is the biggest thing that I haven't really been able to find in any other real estate niche. So essentially, the only things that I actually do on a day-to-day is, I'm aware of my inventory. I'm aware of what properties I have and what I want to sell them at, what price point I want to sell them at. But the only things that I really do on a day-to-day is I choose where I would what market I would like to target, what market I would like to actually send mail campaigns to, and what price point I would like to buy at. And then after doing that, really the whole due diligence side of the thing is completely taken care of, and I can just get property in my inventory as I choose them. And then on the flip side, I basically just get all of my qualified leads sent to me, and then I can specifically talk to buyers if I'd like. Or I sometimes even outsource that to salesmen, and that's something that you can definitely do if you're really scaling, a lot more so as well, if you don't have the time to actually be on the phone with buyers. So essentially, the only thing I'm doing is what market I'm choosing to buy at, what price point I would like to buy in that market, and then what I'm doing on the sales side with like what I would like to sell this property at, and what I'm going to be happy with. But everything in between, from due diligence to making a property listing and marketing on all of these different sites like Zillow and Facebook and everything else, all of that is outsourced. I've never touched that ever.
That's fair. That's fair. So you said your main job is kind of like 7 to 7, but and so how many hours do you think you're working on this land business per week, and what is kind of the expectation, would you suggest, for someone who's getting started?
Yeah, so I would probably say that, like, I'm putting in maybe about 1 to 2 hours a day. Sometimes things could get maybe a little bit busier if I'm really dealing with like a lot of different leads and that I might be interested in, or if I'm actually selling a lot of property that have a lot of leads like interested in this property, and then it could get a little bit busier. But I would say the average is about 1 to 2 hours a day. So whatever that is a week, maybe 5 to 10 hours a week. So I would definitely classify that as passive.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And so I just want to, before I get into some of these comments out here, I just want to mention that, like, if you're getting into other, I mean, the most comparable like real estate niche is just house wholesaling, and that's where a lot of people did you ever consider that? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I did actually right at the same time of land investing, and so I kind of like got introduced to both at the same time, and land just made way more sense.
Yeah, and so I mean that's the most comparable niche. Obviously, land or house flipping, but that comes on. I generally think that's better to do with if with after experience of wholesaling. And so wholesaling, it's like just way more time intensive, way harder to find deals because direct mail, if you're going in good markets, is just not going to work very well unless you spend a lot of money. And I wouldn't recommend spending a lot of money until you know how to do deals. And so you got to cold call, you got to drive for dollars, and that's just sourcing your deals. And then you got to go on site to the properties. So like if you're going to get started in house wholesaling, you better be prepared to spend at least double the amount of time you need to do with land investing. So I literally think you probably need to spend 20 hours a week in house wholesaling with this niche. I think, like you said, maybe 2 hours a day and just doing the actionable items that you need to do is very doable. So I really just think that this niche, you could literally spend half the time um, as you to get started as you would in house wholesaling because direct mail works like a charm and you never need to go on site to these properties. And so that's one fundamental that also makes it way more scalable too. So let's get into some of these questions. We got a number of people commenting here. Um,
Awesome.
so let's see what we got. Gary says, "Hi guys, I see your policy is don't offer more than 20K on properties. What is the reason for this? I see some props worth more than 100K and thinking of offering 25 to 30% value. So I don't suggest not buying over 20K, and we do buy properties for over 20 grand. The only properties where I've lost money on have been more expensive properties. When you're getting started, I think it's probably pretty helpful to just start lower price point and then build your way up, learn the process and learn what things can screw you up. Um, yeah, so I mean, there's been a few properties north of that price point where I have screwed something up because you really need to get into, I mean, you really need to make sure that something is buildable. And I didn't know at the time, I didn't know what I didn't know. And one of these properties was on a slope, it didn't have great access. And that's honestly, since I started my new business with Paul, we I've sold every single property from my old business except this one, and that was except two of them, and they were both more expensive lots. And so just be careful. Like you certainly can do it, and we do it. It's just I recommend getting started at a cheaper price point and then kind of learning as you go. So hopefully that answers your question. If you have any add-ons, Gary, just feel free to chime in. Sharon Gordon Smith says, "At what stage do I set up a website? I have an LLC from my real estate business." So yeah, I would. Carl, do you have a website?
I do, yeah. And when I set up my website, I actually set it up right away. That was kind of a gray area of like what you prefer. But I actually found that when I had a website, I made it look very legitimate because obviously I was, and then I started to market and then drive leads to that website. I think that really drove it a little bit more quality leads, and it kind of just made it seem like, hey, like these guys are for real. And so I would personally recommend doing it right away, just to also like have your inventory in one place, and just be able to have leads from wherever you're getting from all these different platforms driven to that website.
Yeah, so I agree. I agree with Carlo. I think it's a worthy investment right off the bat. Once you start buying a few properties, maybe wait until you get 3 to 5 properties so you can post it on there and look like you have some activity. Maybe even create some listings and just mark sold for properties in the area. It's not a bad idea. So I would recommend doing it relatively soon. You don't need to do it for your first few properties, but I think it like Carlos said, I think it adds a lot of credibility. And it shows that you are legitimate. And the biggest hurdle for selling property is getting over the fact that people think you're a scam or they don't think you're official. They don't think you're on title.
I don't know how
And
many times I've answered that question.
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, people just, they don't put trust right away, and you got to have some sort of presence to really start converting people at a higher percentage. So, I mean, while you'll still sell property, I'd say the most important thing is choosing property in a good market. And if you do that, then you're going to get sales. But if you just want to increase your conversion rate, I think a website's a great investment as soon as you feel comfortable. So let's see what else we got. What options are there for someone like me? You know my situation. I'm poor up front, but pay my bills. Also, I have the ability to visit the land. I visited all the parcels out west already. I don't know. Maybe this is a good time to chime in and maybe suggest, Carlo, what your budget was starting out and what you think that someone realistically might need to get started.
Yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
who's
So
yeah.
definitely. So, yeah. So for this, first off, for you having the ability to visit land, don't even worry about it. That's kind of the whole point of this real estate niche is you can do all of this from the comfort of your own home, which is the best, one of the best things about it for sure. And then in terms of budget, I actually started off with, I think it was like $8,000 total. And I basically used all of that money towards marketing and buying property. And now I am, fully running a land business. So, whatever that means to you. I think that I probably, if I did it right, I probably could have even started with 5.
Yeah, I think you could start with a fairly low amount. I mean, if you only have money for the marketing, find the deals, and then I mean you could set it up so you can double close. We have a contract that you could leverage to start doing double closes. I mean, if you have a deal and you have a buyer, if you have a seller and you have a buyer, and there's a spread in between there, you could hustle and find a way to make it work. It works better if you have a little bit of capital. However, it's not necessary. You could also find investors who could fund deals. You just got to definitely have money for the mail. I would recommend starting. I think a $5,000 budget's very realistic. And I mean, if you really are a hustler, you could certainly start with just the mail cost. It's just harder, especially since you haven't gone through a full land process to execute a double close. But it's not impossible. Or you could just find people with funding who are looking to earn a return on their capital. So there's a few different options I'd say there.
We're offering deal funding to our students, right, Willie?
Oh, true. We are offering deal funding. So you go to landinvestingpros.com and hit the deal funding tab so you can send out mail, upload deals there, and not have to fund your own deals if you got a good one under contract. So there's several different options for someone like you, Marcus. Jeremy says, let's hear it, Willie. Scale from a side hustle brother. I love it. Freddie says, just sold one in Florida at 36 grand with 25 grand.
Freddie, you are rocking it.
Selling 2 more in Florida, one at 15K and another at 22K. Total profits 26K, and had them for 2 weeks. Freddie, you are killing it, man. Do you mind sharing if these are your own capital? Are you optioning these properties? How exactly are these going down? But man, you are killing it. I love to see that you just started in this business and already seeing a ton of success. So that's awesome. That is awesome to hear.
Total profit of 26K in 2 weeks of inventory time, guys. Great.
How does that feel? Also, how does that feel?
Come on.
And Freddie, if you don't mind, what are you doing are you doing this full time or are you doing this on the side? And at what point are you looking to do this full time? Because it sounds like you could be doing this full time if you're not. So let's see. Let's see who this is. Gotta check Facebook. Tom Ramey says, I was listening to your podcast today and I understood you to say you do blind offers. Is that correct? Yes. So we do blind offers. And the reason we do blind offers is because if you send out neutral letters, you're going to get a flood of people interested in selling their property, and they're going to want retail. They're going to be like, yes, I want to dump my property. Of course I do. But you didn't give them a price. And so they're going to call you, and then you're going to look at the property. You're going to go comp it on Zillow, and you're going to be like, okay, this is what it's worth. I want to buy it at 20% of that. You're going to call them back, and you're going to tell them you want 20% of that. They're going to scream at you, and then you're going to hang up, and you're going to do that about 10 times.
Very upset.
You're going to get very upset. You're going to do about 10 times. Maybe the 11th one, you'll get a deal. But you're going to be spending a lot of time, and you're time comping properties, time calling people, and it's just a lot of wasted time. How have the blind offers worked for you, Carlo?
Yeah, so similar results. I would say that really sending out really sending out the blind offer, meaning like, you actually give this person a price point, when instead of that person, yelling at you and you going through that whole time waste of even seeing if this is something that you're interested in, they usually just like throw it in the trash, or maybe they send you a bad email, but that's it. And then, I would say that it drives, you're already getting, if you mail out at the right price point, you're going to get plenty of responses. And those responses would usually be, much better given the actual price point that they are either accepting or countering. And you're not going to get these ridiculous offers, or like you said, have to deal with the calling them back and then giving them 20% of that, and then you basically just wasted all that time and then nothing good came of it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So we are certainly on the same page. So hopefully that answers that. And also a good plug for the podcast, the Fire Your Boss Real Estate Podcast. Please go and subscribe. So glad you were listening to that. Freddie says, and currently trying to buy 40 acres of Colorado at $7K, sell for $30K owner financing. So that is what I'm talking about. So lots of deals going on. If you don't mind, I'm just curious on those cash deals. Were those, are you doing those through optioning, or are you taking those down? I'm just curious. You don't have to share if you don't want. I'm just genuinely curious how that's happening. Jeremy says greatness, Freddie. And
Freddie's got a fan base.
He's not wrong. Freddie does have a good fan base, including us. Jeremy Harlow says, Carlo, how long have you been investing in flipping land?
Yeah, so I've been investing in flipping land, really in the real estate game in general, for about 3 years now.
Okay. Freddie says, I started with about $400 and sent out postcards. I had an amazing lead for my first accepted offer, and I found a partner for it for funding. Find a way to make it work. Don't look at all the ways it won't work. That's a great way to do it. So have you been, so Freddie started with $400. So we asked that question earlier. How much do you realistically need to get started? Freddie sent out offers and spent $400 in marketing to buy property. He found a funding partner, and I can't remember how much he made, like 80 grand in a month or something. Maybe it was more than that. I honestly can't remember, but yeah, Freddie is absolutely a monster, killing it. So Lisa says, I've invested about 3,000 in mailers and no responses as of yet. I'm getting very discouraged at this point. Can you elaborate of selecting markets? So Lisa, I'm not sure. Maybe when did you send out the mail campaign? Because we sent out a mailer a month ago, and a week ago, and it just hit because I guess the mail has been slower. And we sent a email to the mail company, and we're like, what the hell's the deal here? What's going on? Why has no one called us? We sent out 5,000 units in this one place, and then people started calling, and there's a lot of leads now. So it literally took over a month for that mailer to hit. So it might just be slow mail. Contact the mail company. If you send it out with letter printing or something, just contact them. They might be able to track the mail, and they often do, or they do for every campaign. So they should be able to help you out. And it would be very bizarre if you sent out 3,000 units in land. Maybe if houses you sent out 3,000 units didn't get any response, that might make sense. But land is a totally different beast. And if you send that amount out, you should certainly be getting some traction. Leslie T says, how long will it take to make the money back? And let's say 5,000, can I turn it into 10,000 or 15,000? Carlo, you want to take a stab at that?
Yeah. So you invested 5,000. So how long is that going to take? So, obviously it's going to depend. I've had some of our students take like, a little bit longer, like maybe I would say long as like a month and a half. And then, I've also had students that literally sold the property in a week. So I think that it would, it would really depend on, the market and where you got it at. But I think that you would be able to, flip this property for 100% or over, in profit for probably a month. That's probably what I would go with.
Yeah. So I think a month days on market is not crazy. Just to be conservative, maybe just lower your expectations, say 2 months for your average days on market. And so if you're buying 5 lots at $1,000 each or whatever, you could hopefully sell all 5 lots and call it 2 to 3 months, just to keep your expectations at least realistic. I think you certainly can sell them within 30 days. And our average days on market is under 30 days, so it's not crazy. But if you offer owner financing, that'll help. There's a variety of things, but the market that you choose is probably what I would say is going to be the biggest indicator of whether or not you'll be able to flip these things pretty quickly. So yeah, I would just say manage your expectations. If you invest 5,000 into property, expect 30, 60-ish days in that time frame to be able to sell the properties. Especially if you follow our guidance in the land flipping formula and choose hot markets, which is like we say, the single most important indicator whether or not you're going to be successful. And it's not just going off your gut; it's looking at the data and choosing those markets, and then marketing properly. So Freddie says, these ones have been my own capital, finally saved up enough from partnerships to buy my own just a couple of weeks ago. And I'm currently doing this part-time, but really want to quit my job. I have a hunch in the next few months, Freddie, that you might be doing this full-time, but hopefully you can continue the deal flow and just make it more repeatable. And I like what you're doing with these bigger deals. So maybe keep that up and just see how it goes. But that's awesome. Freddie. I mean, starting with $400 and now doing all that. That's great to see.
Exactly right.
That kind of success. Elijah says, hi.
Hi, Elijah.
He also says, I will sell you a $83 trillion water bottle.
Sold. So, I'm in.
It's not bad. Yeah, so Lisa says a month ago. So I would say contact the mail company. They should be able to give you some answers and help you out there. So thanks. I will reach out to the printing company. Can you elaborate a little more on selecting markets? Yeah, sure. So when choosing good markets, what we do is we analyze the data. That's the only thing we care about. I don't care what type of property it is. I don't care if it's in the desert. I don't care if it's an infill lot. It's totally different sides of the spectrum. All I care about is it within my price range, one, and could I buy a number of properties with my budget, and two, is there a lot of market activity? Meaning, are there a lot of buyers in the space, and have there been a lot of sold data in that market? So I'm looking to see where are the pockets where there's a lot of property selling, and I'm gonna literally just draw a polygon using data tree and hit those markets. So and I'm only gonna hit the land parcel. So it's a pretty basic concept. So just go where the fish are and just go fishing there. It's basically the gist of it. Freddie says, Willie and Carlo, in your opinion, which is more your style of land investing? Less deals but higher profit, or more deals but lower profit? So maybe Carlo, as you got started, what kind of deals have you been doing?
Yeah, so I would say that my real estate, my land flipping strategy is mostly like it's high volume, low cost real estate investing. That's what it's about. I love that price range of 1,000 to 5,000. I love that price range. And then when you're able to flip from 1,000 to 5,000 to 10,000 to 20,000, I love that. So I would say that those are more deals and higher profits. So, that's really my niche. If I'm answering this question, I would probably, really the way that you answer this question is you gotta say how often are these deals happening, and are you okay with those profits coming in at that time? So if you're getting less deals but higher profits, and those profits are coming in and covering that spread of however more deals are coming up at that lower price point, then that's okay for you. But it's just kind of funny it's kind of like a redundant question, just because we're doing deals that are more deals and higher profits.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, in our business right now, I'd say we're doing a mix of both, at least mixing more of both. I'd say our traditional deal is, call it, buy 2,000 to 5,000, sell it for 18,000 to 25,000 in that range on terms, and just try to do as many as possible. So there's a variety of different ways to kind of do this niche. And so you got to find your pocket, find what works well for you, and kind of do it. And there's so many people doing this niche in so many different ways. Just find Freddie, it sounds like you found something that has worked for you. So I would just say find the common attributes in those deals, and just see if you could replicate those rather than maybe replicating exactly what we've done in our business, because it's those deals that you've been doing are a little bit different, but there's nothing wrong with it. You've kind of figured out though that corner of the market, and so maybe you can't do as much volume um, with those types of deals, but you found like a pretty big spread in there. So I would say continue hitting what is worked well and start doing that. So I think what you've been doing is great, and I would say don't necessarily venture towards the path of doing high volume, since you've kind of I mean you certainly can. I'm just saying, like, you found something that works, just go and dig and do that. Go hard into that, and there's probably less people in that area of the market too as well. So um, hopefully that answers that question. So let's see what else we got here. Jeremy says, with the new addition to deal funding from Elise's Co., I see this resource as a great way to get started for anyone. Would you guys agree this is a game changer?
100%, Jeremy. 100%.
Yeah, I would agree. I think having your deals funded, especially early on as an investor when you don't know how to 100% underwrite your deals, getting someone to fund your deals and even market it for you is huge. So I would say it's a pretty big deal. Mike says, "What's up, guys? Hey, Mike.
What up, Mike?
Welcome to the live." David Hand says, "Mail is very slow now. Ask an eBay or Amazon seller." Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but mail has gotten reasonably slower. And I don't know what the difference is, but at least for us. So, what is the best way to acquire inventory? Do these need to be lots owned outright, or can these be lots that are owner financed to me? What are your complications and disadvantages with these? Good question. I would say for so you can certainly owner finance properties to buy them, and that's a person I was on the phone with about a week ago. He continually kept lecturing me that we should not be buying these deals cash, and that we should be owner financing as many properties as possible, because we're out there raising debt equity or debt capital for our business, and if we can just leverage take out leverage from these owners and start marketing them while we're making payments on them and capture the spread in between, it's not a bad way, especially if you're capital constrained. So you can do it either way. Most of the time, I would say, as you're getting started, probably just take down properties, pay cash for them at least up front, and then you could pick up some nuances like do an owner carry to buy property and then do an owner carry to sell them, and trying to capture a spread in between. I would say just I don't know if that's how I would start. I would just maybe start buying some cash and then maybe selling some properties, owner financing, figuring things out, and then adding a little bit more complexities. What's the ratio for sold versus what's for sale? Not exactly sure what you mean. I would, if you're looking at a market, and if you're looking at a market, say on Zillow or something, I don't know if you're asking like a hot market, but I would say at least as much sold as there is up for sale. And if there's if there's a big distortion there, that would be a big red flag for me. Freddie says, Jeremy Harlow, yes, the deal funding being offered is really great offer. And I'm being honest, they're not just lending money, but actually partnering, which I totally agree. I think hopefully it will be a game changer. And I think they're getting a lot of traction. And we just launched that. So that'll be great. Anthony says, what kind of response rates are you seeing in your mailers? Carlo, I guess from your experience, how successful or how big of flops have your mailers been?
I've definitely had my fair share of both, for sure. But yeah, I would say that, really like the goal, and we definitely, explain this in the course. If you're sending out mailers of anywhere between, 1,000 to 1,500, really the goal is if you get one deal out of that, you're able to pay for it all, which is great. But the goal is probably to get somewhere between like maybe 5%. And even if you get that, which is, 50 to 100 people, that should be, more than enough to, cover your spread. And, that response rate in general, sending out blind offers and stuff like that, that's going to do, more than enough for you.
Sharon says, are those lots selling fast due to offering owner financing? I do not want to carry the note in the beginning, but to sell outright. So they probably they will sell faster if you offer owner financing. That said, the first, call it 40 lots that I sold were only cash. So, I mean, they will move. The biggest thing is, again, choosing the good markets to do so. So if you send out 5K, how many calls back? So if you send out 5,000,
A lot,
you're gonna get a lot. You're gonna get a lot of
a lot.
calls. Um, I would say expect um,
They're like
I'd say expect 30,
500,
50 calls.
30,
Uh,
50. I don't know.
I don't
We'll
know,
see.
50. So 50, 500. No, I would say maybe a percent to call you. So maybe 50. If I did my math right there. Did I do my math right? 5,500, 5,000. Yeah. So I'd say
There you go.
50. 50 would be a lot. Um, and maybe expect to have actual deals on half of those. That's if you're choosing a market that you're able to pick up a lot of deals from. If you're sending out mail to an expensive market in a desirable area, it's going to be different. Lisa says, what would you advise on starting with 5K and being able to purchase multiple lots? So maybe try to pick up some lots at around $1,000 each and buy 5 of them. So try to find those markets. Freddie says, thanks for the advice, Willie and Carlo. Of course, Freddie.
Always Freddie. Always
Keep
Freddie.
us posted, and I hope you continue to be active in the group. Jeremy says, Freddie, that's how I view it, especially with funding partners. Long-standing relationships are crucial. Love that. Eric says, yes, I would say that sell fast due to owner financing. So Eric and I are on the same page. Facebook user says, just sent out 2,000 mailers that I plan to use for Elise's company for funding. That's awesome. So
That's awesome.
find the deal and then find the money. So if you're capital constrained, send out mail, find the deal, find the money after. Worry about that's kind of the essence of being an entrepreneur. Figure things out as you go. Lisa says, when looking at a market, okay. Yeah, so I would say if you're referring to the ratio, then try to make sure there's at least a reasonable ratio of sold to for sale. Sorry, I'm trying to get to all of these. I know we're going a little bit long. Freddie says, question about owner financing. Do you guys still sell a lot of tire kickers when offering owner financing? I've started offering it more, but have yet to find a buyer on financing. Lots of inquiries, but no buyers. So no, I would say just keep at it because you're going to find more buyers. There's no doubt there's just a bigger market, even for the expensive stuff. If you offer owner financing, it's going to go faster. So just keep at it and keep offering it and then figure out the contracts once you get a buyer, to be honest. I think that's probably the way to go about it. So Eric says, absolutely. They waste most of my time. Yes, those darn tire kickers. Andrew says, Willie, do I need to register my LLC as a foreign in every state I'm flipping or no? Probably. I mean, your lawyer is probably going to tell you that you should if it's not your home state. And so I would say if you're going heavy in a state, then maybe you could register as a foreign LLC, but I wouldn't worry about it if you only have like 5 properties or something. That is my practical advice, not my legal advice. Leslie T says, realistic, if I buy properties for 500 to 1,000, how much can I sell it back? So if you're buying it for 500 to 2,000, I would say it's not crazy to, I don't know. What do you think, Carlo?
I mean, it's all depending on the market, obviously that you actually bought the property in. But I mean, we're looking at least quadrupling your money here. That's like, what we're kind of going for. So, I mean, I'm thinking that, if you're selling it for 1,000, try to sell for 4,000.
Awesome. And looks like we got one more question, and then I'm going to make an offer to you guys. So stay tuned for the offer. Pay off student loans or start land investor in career. So, I mean, if you pay off your student loans, how are you going to get the experience to start your land investing career? That's my opinion. What are your thoughts here?
Student loan debt? Nah, you don't need that stuff. Buy land, you'll be fine.
I'd say just figure out a way to start getting some deal experience. Student loans can take a long time to pay off. If you wait for it to be paid off, then you're not. Then after you wait, then you missed several years of experience that you could have gotten. So I'd try to figure it out. Andrew says, thanks, appreciate it, of course. Lisa says, what states are you finding deals under 1K? I don't know. You can go to Arkansas. You can find some lots out in New Mexico. So try to hit those markets. When should I start selling properties? I'm 11. Maybe when you're 12. I'd wait maybe another year.
I
I'm just
still
kidding.
want that. I still want that age
cash.
period.
You got the.
I still want that water bottle.
Facebook user says, "Can you help me sell 10 acres, Cal City?" Potentially.
Yeah, we can sell anything.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. Start land flipping to pay off that. There you go. Now that's
Amen.
that's
Amen,
the
Freddie.
proper way to
That's
think
the
about it.
advice. That's the advice, dude.
Eric says, "Start on your career." Love it. So, yeah, I think the
You're getting
entrepreneurs are
unanimous.
making their words known here. All right. What do you think, Carla?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting a lot of comments, a lot of questions. I love it. I love having the community involved with us. This is awesome.
Yeah, they keep coming in. Patton was right. Hi, Willie. I've now watched 20 of your videos. Thanks for doing these. Sometime would love to hear about your experiences, California, the Antelope Valley, Mojave, and the inevitable grow IMO. All right, all right. I appreciate it, and thanks for listening to the videos. Hopefully you find value in trying to share the knowledge. Taylor says, "Isn't owner financing difficult to manage once you have a lot of buyers?" So if you're organized, and I kept track of everything in Excel for the longest time, but if you're organized, it shouldn't be a problem.
We teach you how to do this in the course, right, Willie?
Yeah, we teach it in the course. So if you're interested, that is a nice segue. If you guys are interested, please, you can get our course at landinvestingpros.com, and I will make a special offer today. And for those of you who are interested, I am going. So I did this last week. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to one up the offer. So last week I had offered for someone who signs up today, you will get the land flipping formula. But not only that, you're going to get 3 leads from our CRM. And what those leads are people who have said, "Hey, I'm interested in selling my property. Will you?" And they've accepted our offer. We've vetted those markets. They're good markets. We wouldn't send mail to a bad market. And we have hundreds and hundreds of leads in our CRM, and we can't possibly buy them all. So if you guys are interested and you buy today, I am not only going to give you 3 leads, I will guarantee that one of those leads will buy property. Otherwise, I'm going to give you 3 more leads until you buy property. And if you do buy one of these properties, the cost of the land flipping formula will be more than paid for, because, like I said, I've mentioned what our average margins are on these deals, and if you and then not only that, so you will be able to buy property based on our leads, so you don't even need to send out mail to buy at least one property. And so that is the first part of the deal. And the second part of the deal is I will vet the market that you choose to send out mail in after you buy one of these properties. And then I will review your first 3 leads on that mailer. So you send out mail, or you want to send out mail, I will vet your market. I'll make sure you're choosing a good market. And then I will review your first 3 leads, making sure you're doing your diligence properly, tell you what you can sell for, tell you what you should buy it for. And so if you are interested, please send me an email at Willie, WILLIE, at landinvestingpros.com, and I will get you hooked up. So what do you think about that, Carla?
That's the deal if I've ever heard one, Willie. Let me tell you.
Cool. So got a few more comments here, and then we will sign off. Thanks, guys. Freddie says, "Thanks, guys. I look forward to Tuesdays for your streams only. Love it."
That's right, Freddie. Oh, man.
Can you help my brother? He really wants to do this for his job and be a millionaire. I would love to. Go to
landinvestingpros.com, Elijah.
landinvestingpros.com. Watch our webinar if you haven't already. Omar says, "Wow, I would love to get that deal." Awesome, Omar. I love it. Sharon Gordon Smith says, "Do you need a good accountant to help in this business for tax purposes?" Sharon, send me an email at willie@landinvestingpros.com, and I will send you a referral to an accountant that can help you out. You don't need one as you're getting started, but if you'd like one, I could send you one. Lisa says, "Amazing deal. Any leads for people that already purchased your course?" So I guess, Lisa, this is a one-time offer today only. What's your email and how much is it? So my email is Willie, WILLIE, at landinvestingpros.com. And our course is $1,297. So, and you will earn well more than that on completing one transaction. So that is it. Carlo, thanks for joining me today, man.
Thanks for having me, my man.
All right.
Bye, land investors.
Bye, land investors. We'll see you guys next week.